All right, let's bring in White House Deputy Press Secretary Abigail Jackson. Abigail, great to have you with us today. Probably a little bit odd for him to go back to that place today. What are your thoughts on this appearance that he just did?
Great to be with you, Martha.
Good to have you
and
with us.
I will say that President Trump delivered a great speech highlighting how important religious liberty is in our country and everything he has done. If you look back at the Biden administration and how they really targeted religious Americans, you heard the president talk about that in his speech. He talked about how the Biden administration targeted pro-life protesters. He threw them in jail, and the president came into office. He righted those wrongs. He pardoned those individuals, actually, and the Trump administration's DOJ has been looking into that and has highlighted how the Biden administration colluded with pro-abortion organizations to go after these pro-life Americans. So the president talked about that, but to your point, he talked about how important it is that Americans go out and vote in these upcoming elections and highlighted everything that's at stake here.
You know, I find it interesting. I sense the tenor among Republicans and leading with the president that what happened in New York with these three races has sort of ignited a fire in Republicans who obviously fear losing the majority in the House in November, which is typically the way historically. But I sense that they feel that maybe they have something here that might make a difference in that. Here's the president speaking at the Freedom Coalition meeting this afternoon. Watch.
The Democrat Party is in big trouble, because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going all. Too easy to get elected, giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous, but you'll soon have nothing left.
So right now, when you look at the across the board sort of average of people who say they're going to vote for a Democrat over a Republican in the midterms, it's about +4. What's the plan this summer for the president in terms of getting out there and campaigning for candidates and talking about the economy when Iran has really taken up so much of the oxygen recently?
The president is totally committed to maintaining Republican majorities in the House and in the Senate, and he believes that there is a clear contrast between what this administration has delivered compared to what the Democrats are selling. Things like the largest tax cut in history. The president signed into law just about a year ago. Not a single Democrat voted for that. A secure border. We have the most secure border in history. Democrats just recently tried to defund ICE and Border Patrol. And when you look at what the Democrats want, they have nothing to offer the American people in terms of affordability, in terms of the economy. They're simply trying to obstruct President Trump. Meanwhile, he's lowering prices. He's lowering drug prices. He's signing trade deals to bring jobs back to America. So while President Trump is delivering so many wins for the American people, all of the Democrats have is let's obstruct the president, let's put illegal aliens before American citizens, and let's stop the agenda that has delivered so much for the American people.
So yesterday, there was a strike on a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, and the president came out and posted about it this morning on Truth Social, and he called it a foolish breach of the agreement. So now the question becomes, what is the U.S. response to that?
Yes, well, what I'll say is that President Trump has been right about everything on Iran up until this point. He has been right that their military is totally destroyed. The strait is open, and he's been right about oil and gas prices coming down. Another cap in his feather there. All of the cards are with President Trump. I don't have any announcements on the ceasefire. And we, of course, look forward to continued productive conversations like the ones that the vice president just had to kick off technical talks in Switzerland. The president has made tremendous progress on delivering on his promise that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And the American people should know that he will always advocate for a good deal for them.
Yeah, he called it a foolish breach of the agreement. So obviously this raises a question about what comes next. And we'll be watching. We also know that there is an agreement in the works between Hezbollah and Israel that Secretary of State Rubio has been working on. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as well. So it's really the economy, this question of socialism and Iran that are really on the plate for this summer. I know you're going to be watching all of it and representing the White House. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much, Abigail.
Yeah,
good to have you with us today.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.